Welcome to AI TV. We're broadcasting live from AI Expo Africa 2019, Africa's largest AI trade show. And it's great to welcome back Alessandro, CEO of LightBlue Cognitive Solutions. You were at our inaugural event last year. Alessandro, welcome to the show again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's great to be back.
Thank you. Well, for those people that don't know you, because I know the in-joke here in LightBlue, it's a play on
Big Blue.
LightBlue, right? So you're an IBM partner. Do you want to explain a little bit more about what you do in your business?
Yeah, sure. So, like you said, ex-IBMer, 20 years in the trenches in the corporate world. Got excited about AI about 5 years back, and I had the luxury of heading up the AI practice for IBM across Middle East and Africa in consulting.
Wow.
And I saw the potential, and it's fun tech, it's exciting stuff. Beats implementing ERP systems, I'll give you that. So we started up LightBlue Cognitive Solutions. Our team's growing. We're about 6 strong currently. And we focused on predominantly the financial services in the Western Cape market. And we're seeing some repeatability with some great use cases. We presented yesterday. We stumbled upon an inbound email automation use case. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
And we found quite interesting. Nobody seems to be tackling that market directly, and we're one of the first to market. We're getting traction at the large insurance houses and having fun. And great to be here, and great to be seeing the reception we're receiving.
Yeah, look, I mean, from the outset, I know you were one of the companies that came on board last year. I mean, our goal was always to try and create an environment where buyers could meet suppliers, and also not just for the big boys. So, I mean, we've had the likes of Microsoft and SAP and BCX, and last year Didata. And what we wanted to try and do is put you in the same room as them for a fraction of the cost, but to expose you to the same people, right? And do you feel then, how's this year compared to last year? Have you seen any differences?
Yeah, I think to your point, I think it's been a great opportunity, having been here last year, to establish some credentials that we can pitch up and we can bat with the big boys. We were able to move fast, and we can implement solutions that the larger houses take a little bit longer to solidify around, so we got that first mover advantage. And in terms of the conference, I think there's been a market improvement in terms of spread and serious business buyers and decision makers. Really nice interest, and I think that's also testament to where we are as a business 12 months further in. We've had better use cases and product to bring to market.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I get the opportunity to look at the delegate list just before we go to print, and there was a lot more government here this year, local government, national, and provincial. And I think they themselves now realising that they've got to join this game as well. They're sitting on huge amounts of data, right?
Yeah.
And it's ripe for exploitation. But I think in their world, there's lots of things like privacy issues, POPI if you're here, or GDPR if you're in Europe. Are you finding that things like privacy and ethics, security is a concern or a barrier to people adopting your solutions?
I think they're all considerations for the larger players and even the smaller players. What we've seen practically is there's still a lot of proof of concepts and pilots happening. I think those issues more come to the fore when you hit a full pilot, full-scale implementation, the POPI's GDPR. So we're still skirting those issues and proving the sexy tech underlying.
And then worry about it after. But before you go to production, I guess. But
it's on my sales slides, it's there.
Yeah. So, what's next for you guys? I mean, you're talking about an interesting use case there, email. I mean, what other use cases are you seeing in the sectors that you're playing in? Yeah,
so we're playing when we're in Cape Town. We heard yesterday from, I think it was the Finance Minister of the Western Cape Government, talking about BPO specifically overtaking citrus as an export for the Western Cape, which is great. Music to my ears. We're playing in the contact center space. We're doing use cases customer-facing, what we call contact center agent assist. So it's virtual agents, and it's not just the chatbot, which is being commoditized. We're doing things like a chatbot complemented by an intelligent cognitive search, where we can put custom language domain models over an organization's corpus of documentation, so you can do intelligent, structured language queries over traditionally unstructured data.
Interesting.
When we're pushing that further, we're seeing great returns and there's great references in Europe, and it's new to the local market, and there's a big contact center market in the Cape. And we're now playing in the speech-to-text space. We're enjoying the fun and games of the 7 or 8 key accent groups in the Western Cape alone.
Oh, right.
For the larger corporates.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And plugging in speech to text into this contact center agent assistance solution, it just opens up a lot of new use cases.
And so that's interesting. And this is all leveraging the Watson platform at the back end. Is that correct? Or?
Predominantly Watson, but not exclusively
Okay.
Watson. We started off in the Watson stack, given my background. What we've come to understand is where we're playing now is really stitching together whatever else is out there.
So whatever Lego you come across.
Whatever Lego block works at the right price point for the customer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you look at the way the traditional platform market was even 5 years ago, it was very, almost no one really wanted to connect with anyone.
Yep.
And now we're in this API economy. Now everyone knows they have to be open. And I think it's interesting to see some of the bigger vendors changing their partner model,
Yep.
their go-to-market sales model. So essentially what you're saying is, although you started out, I guess, as an IBM partner, you're very open now to working on any platform, any API, any component that's out there.
Absolutely, and I think I attended an architecture briefing 20 years ago that mentioned the API economy, and that was just a bit of a dream for an architect.
Yeah.
I think our company's testament to that. We were able to consume anybody's Lego block if it provides the right service and is best in class at the right price point. And yeah, started off more on the blue side on good old IBM. But Google and others have got phenomenal product out there that are allowing us to compete in completely new spaces and quite frankly displacing traditional vendors in their little niche boxes.
Yeah. So what next for you? So you picked up some new leads here. I think you said just before we started that it's been good for you. You've picked up some new business. Without divulging the names, what sectors have you found new leads in?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've predominantly been targeting financial services, the insurance houses. We've met some interesting banks from up north who are quite keen, as well as a couple of retailers. But yeah, really solid leads.
What does up north mean?
Johannesburg.
Okay, there we go. Just for all the Joe Burgers out there, up north, that's where you live.
It's not down, it's up, from our perspective anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but again, we've got representation here from Botswana, we've got representation here from Namibia, Kenya, Tanzania. Are those markets that you will also, if you have an inquiry, you can serve those
Absolutely,
those people as well?
We're interested in servicing. I think we being 18 months old, we've tried to productize and harden those key use cases that we see that there's repeatability. We're getting traction, like I mentioned, in the largest short-term and the largest long-term insurer in Cape Town. And we've got those test cases, we're putting them to bed and still hardening those solutions. And now it's all about repeating it and taking it to market and getting on that roadshow and putting email automation out there. It's a big problem statement that everyone has, and it's a sweet spot. Applying new innovative tech that's come of age and matured in the NLU space and in the optical character recognition handwriting space to an old 30-year-old problem. Yeah. As my young millennial colleagues say, we're dealing with legacy problems really in the email space.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, even the stuff that we're doing now, you couldn't necessarily do even 2 or 3 years ago. And I was talking to one of the platform providers who's actually at the show, and he was saying he can't even keep up with the innovation in his own company. So confusing times for the buyers, maybe, perhaps. That's another problem as a vendor, that you realise that actually you're talking to a customer who perhaps is in a state of confusion about who do they choose, because 20 years ago there wasn't much choice, right? Yeah. Now there's almost too much choice. So how do you see that playing out? How do you help a CIO or a CXO unpick who he should or she choose as a supplier?
Yes, I think a couple of things. I think skepticism is healthy. I also think stick to the business problem. We can all admire the tech, and part of what I love coming here again is just talking geek for 2 days, and that's great. But focus on the business case and focus on the business value, and look at some hard metrics and do your homework, do a proper roadmap, and McKinsey's got a nice little filter saying what use cases have worked internationally. If it hasn't been done internationally and you really want to be bleeding edge, well then, if you're up for risk, great. But just do your homework, research your vendor, and try and stick with a vendor who sticks around post go live, because in the ML game, I think it's all about ongoing optimization. It's not a drop the tool and run scenario.
Well, Alessandro, always a pleasure to talk to you. And again, thanks very much for being here in our second year, and thanks very much for being here in our first year. And hopefully we'll see you on the 3rd and 4th of September in our third year in 2020.
It's always a pleasure. I look forward to it.
Thanks,
you,
Alessandro.
Nick.
Thanks
Cheers.
for joining us on AITV.
Ta.